Okay, so a problem like this, you've got an equation here and another equation there, and it's being asked about what's true. And it asks about things like what, do they have the same y-intercept? So we'd have to know the y-intercept. Parallel, we'd have to know if there's slope. Perpendicular, we'd have to know their slopes. X-intercept, we'd have to get more information. The point is, in order to know the y-intercept or the slope, we need to get these solved for y. So it takes a few steps, but if we were going to do it, this is what we would do to solve for the slope-intercept form. We would basically solve for y. So 6x plus 5y equals 3. So to solve for y, first we subtract 6x from both sides. 5y equals 3 minus 6x. Then we divide by 5. Then we divide the whole thing by 5. This cancels, and ultimately we get y is equal to 3 over 5, because this applies to that, minus 6 over 5x. So that's the first equation, and it's not nice and pretty, a bunch of fractions, but the y-intercept is 3 over 5. The slope is going to be what's multiplied by x, so it's negative 6 over 5. Now let's take the other one and do the same thing. We'd get 5x minus 6y equals 0. Subtract 5x from both sides. We would get, this would go away, negative 6y equals negative 5x. Divide by negative 6. Negative 6, this goes away. Y is equal to that. Now keep in mind, there's a 0 there, so the y-intercept technically is 0. And this, because there's a negative 5 over a negative 6, would literally speaking be 5 over 6. Positive 5 over 6. So what do we know about these equations? Well, do they have the same y-intercept? No, the y-intercept over here is 3 over 5 and this one's 0, so it's not A. Are they parallel? Parallel lines have the same slope. They do not have the same slope. This one is negative 6 over 5. Do they have the same x-intercept? Well, that would be the value of x and y 0. That's kind of a little bit hard to figure out. Let's see if we can figure out if they're perpendicular. Perpendicular would be that the slope of one line is a negative reciprocal of the other. What does that mean? Well, the reciprocal of 2 is 1 over 2. The reciprocal of a fraction like 3 over 5 is 5 over 3. We learned that earlier. But if lines are perpendicular, they have the negative reciprocal. Let me give you an example. A line that's sloped to that, perpendicular to that, would have a slope of negative, not 2, but 1 over 2. A line that is perpendicular to 3 over 5 would have a slope of the reciprocal, but it would go to negative. So there's a reciprocal and then sign switch. Well, here we have negative 6 over 5 for the first line. The second line, if this is a reciprocal, it would be 5 over 6, but it would be the negative reciprocal, so the sign would switch to 5 over 6. Well, that's exactly what this is. This is the reciprocal, the negative reciprocal of the other one. They have different signs, and they're flipped, the numerator and denominator. So that means choice D would be the correct answer.